Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of IBS Talks, the IBS Americas podcast. Here we talk about careers, business and study opportunities abroad. Today I'm really thrilled to welcome Pedro Pereira, a former student of us, who joined the executive program at the University of La Verne in California back in 2007. A long time ago, my friends. Since then, Pedro has been building a solid international career with more than 15 years of experience in major multinational companies, working key business hubs such as Dubai, Miami, and other places. Pedro, welcome. It's such a great pleasure to welcome here.
Ricardo, meu amigo, my friend, this is great to be here with you. Actually, I see that we are celebrating about 20 years of partnership and friendship.
Yes.
You're taking me through a memory lane here back in 2007, right? That changed my life, and I'm here today talking to you. So first and foremost, thank you for this friendship, and thank you for living the purpose and making this incredible organization, helping a lot of people just like it helped me.
Well, that's what we do here. We try to open windows of opportunities for young people who want to grow in their lives, in their professional lives, like yourself. But let me know, I'm really curious about that. What stood out the most during your time in California? What is the difference between Pedro before and after that experience 18 years ago?
Wow, we're going to have one of those podcasts that will be here for 3 hours now to talk about this specific question. Well, needless to say, it changed a lot, right? I was a person that had a lot of dreams. When I came to the program, I had this desire of exploring the world, but I didn't know what the world was. I came from a small city, from Campo Grande here in Brazil, and I moved to São Paulo. That was a big move in my life. I was only 13 years old, and then suddenly I am growing in my career. I'm at that stage that, what is next? And then came the opportunity. In 2006, I learned about the program, and I have a lot of questions for you as well, how that program started, because we were the fourth group.
Yes, the fourth group, the fourth cohort in California.
Exactly. And for me, that came at the exact right time. I was working in an international company. It was my first time being a manager in an international company. And I had these conference calls with people from all over the world. My goodness, language, even the way of behaving, I didn't know anything, Ricardo. And what happens is the opportunity made me understand and turn one page in my life of what is on the other side. Everybody have that specific dream of having international experience, right? And people think of living abroad, but that intelligent experience, that micro experience, that specific time in my life made me understand what was ahead for me. So it was a privilege to be part of the program. I was lost, but then I was found. And I understood what was my shortcomings. That's very important. Sometimes you learn a lot, but sometimes you understand where you have to improve. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot where I had to improve. I learned a lot how to communicate with confidence, because I had a little bit of English, but when you are there facing, talking to all these people, listening to all those teachers that they want to share with you, then you face the reality. And I don't know, I think human beings, they must have something inside them that when you're facing a situation like that, something turns and you go forward and you make things happen. So I gave that step, and now it's history. About 15 years, I had an international career, and I'm here talking to you now, reaping the benefits of that decision. Thank you for what you did.
That's great. That's great. No, you don't need to thank me. I'm just one of the many people that thrive in this arena of international education. I was an international student some years before you.
I want to know about that. I think a lot of people don't know how it all started because it's so big and powerful today. But, tell us how it started.
Well, in some, I had an opportunity to go abroad. Wow. It was my very first international experience. I got an MBA degree in France back in 2001, 2002. And then I realized how important it was to my life, to my mindset, to my business capabilities, to my academic understanding. And I fall in love with this idea, and I decided to share these opportunities with some students. Many of the organizers of international programs are people well-traveled, seasoned, etc. It was not my case. It was my very first experience. So when I look at a student now, I understand that for giving the first step, taking the first step abroad, the amount of information support they need is much more comprehensive than usually international institutions tend to offer. So the idea is taking the students by the hand, making baby steps, preparing them, showing what is a passport, what is a visa, how to book an international trip, everything.
How to go through immigration.
How to go through immigration. This time is much more complicated than before. But we are basically the same people, in love with what we do.
Amazing.
We really love the international education, open international opportunities for our students. And about 80, almost 90% of our students were like you, never had left their countries of origin. We have students from over 120 countries, and many people think that we Brazilians or Latin Americans in general never leave their countries. But most of my American students, we have American students, most of my American students never have left the US. For them, the world is as scary as the world is scary for us. So enjoying this experience is part of the small success that we have.
Well, thinking about what you're saying right now, one word comes to mind: confidence. I think in business, if you don't have confidence, you don't grow. Mm-hmm. If you're stuck in fears and the doubt of being successful, it will be very hard to grow. And even when we talk about innovation is the act of trying something and failing and trying
most
again
of the time.
and again and again and being resilient, right?
Yes.
And if there's one thing you need there is being confident. And I think one of the most important takeaways from the program, which is a soft skill that I have until today, is the confidence to go out there and face the unknown, because that's what happened. When we went there, I didn't know what Costco was. I didn't know, how a, war professor that would mix, information about his experience in military with business strategy. How I would react to that, I had no idea. And all those experiences built confidence in me. I use until today in what I do.
That's really great. It was your first international experience.
Well, I had one trip before to Chile.
Well, it's international for me.
But it was not exactly what I had there. It was just a week. But for me, the game changer was exactly going in 2007 to California, University of La Verne, amazing place. And that changed the game for me. Well,
and now you are a global executive. Now you are a person who leads people and projects around the world. How would you evaluate your transformation from a person somehow stuck in Brazil, stuck in Latin America, with, like everybody else here, a limited vision and understanding of the world, to become someone who really make a difference in the world like you are doing now? How you evaluate this transformation now that you have 18 years to tell us how it changed in you?
Wow, we spoke about the seed, which is confidence. But then when you go out, Ricardo, I noticed something. Some nationalities, and I think Brazilians, we have a little bit of that. We sometimes feel like we are the underdogs. We feel like we are not as good as an American or an European. So we always feel like there's something missing for us. Mm-hmm. And you know what? When you go out there and face the challenges that the world is giving you for work, for business, for relationships, it's actually the opposite. We have a competitive advantage as Brazilians that we Brazilians, and I think many nationalities, they don't know how to explore. We are very creative. We are very resourceful. Do you remember our first projects when we were studying retailers across Brazil?
Yes.
And you came to us with an idea of a methodology that we would analyze the retailers' attractiveness to the brand and the brand attractiveness to the retailers. Yes. That very methodology was unique. You invented it. You created it. Yes. You were creative and very resourceful to make it work. And that really is something that we all have in common as Brazilians. We do have our projects. We do have our ideas. And when you are out there working with international individuals, this stands out.
Yeah. Oh, it deserves a footnote for our listeners here. I didn't met Pedro in our school. We met before in a consulting project that one of our clients were hiring many, many years ago. They had a difficulty to deal with their retail network. And then we suggested a way to approach these clients. We suggested a way to classify them based upon the mutual attractiveness. It was something new. I don't know how successful it was back then or if it's used nowadays, but at that moment, it looked like something that could be useful for the company. And this project lasts for 2 years or so.
Exactly.
And then our academic career, our academic relationship started when we invited you to travel abroad with us to California.
Exactly.
And back then, strategy and marketing, your program, right?
Exactly.
A second footnote, he was referring to a very, very special professor that we had there in California, a professor who had devoted his life to the military in the US and tried to make the leap between the military strategy and the business strategy. He created a book in this area and it influenced all of us back then. All right?
Exactly. Wow. I mean, when you look back and say all of this, it's special because the human being, I think they strive to be different, right? So everywhere we go, we want to be noticed. We want to be different. And my international career, it always went back to the very roots of who I am. So if you don't know who you are, how you will be able to build your differentiation? It's the foundation, right? And when you expose yourself to a situation like that, which is extreme, I have to leave my family. I had to leave, everybody around me and was by myself.
We missed you here.
And I'm talking the program and also living abroad. But the thing here is, it's critical that you put yourself in a situation where you are tested. Mm-hmm. We only become successful after you test yourself, right? And I think an international career will test you a lot. Will test you from the way you behave, will test you from the relationships you have to build, because nobody can do anything by themselves. If you don't know how to build a relationship with someone that is not from your neighborhood, from your family, from your friends that were born with you, then it will be very hard for you to advance in that career. So one of the things there is the culture of building friends and allies to grow your career. So I was facing this big decision after having this experience in 2007. Only in 2011, I got an invitation to go to a place that I never imagined. I got an invitation to go to Dubai. And the CEO of the company, that was an international CEO, he wanted me there. And he told me, Pedro, if you've done it in Brazil, in São Paulo, you can do it anywhere in the world. And when he said that, I felt like, wow, this Norwegian guy believed me even more than I believe myself. So I'm not the underdog that I was mentioning before. Maybe he sees something in me, maybe I have something in me. But imagine, if there is an invitation like that, and I haven't had the opportunity to go and have this international experience before, how do you think I would react to that invitation?
Sure.
So it built the foundation for me going through the program so that when the invitation came, I knew what was expected from me from a cultural perspective, from communications perspective, from relationships perspective. And you know what? I went there, I did it, I completed the program, I got my diploma, I was super proud of it. So I can do this too.
Yes.
That confidence again helped me to accept the invitation to go start a new business in Dubai for the Middle East region and face the unknown. Worst case scenario, I would come back even more experienced.
Yes.
But it ended up being more than 10 years.
Well, you had 3 years of experience in Brazil, then you moved to Dubai, 10 years in Dubai, and then you are now working in Miami, Florida, right?
Exactly.
How you compare the business environment in Dubai with the business environments in Miami, and what you have learned in Dubai that's helping you to succeed in Miami?
Wow, that's a very good question, Ricardo. I tend to believe that it's all about people. The biggest opportunity I have was to meet people from all over the world. And by having those relationships, I understood how to act towards the opportunities that were given to me. In Dubai, people are very relationship oriented. You know, if you're talking to an Emirati are the ones who live there in the Emirates, they look at you, oh, you're Brazilian, oh, Ronaldo. They have this initial rapport that you can leverage that, right?
Yes.
And by building those relationships, I understood that I can bring something that is unique from my identity towards relationships, and we can turn that into business. Relationship is key. I received recently, back 3 years ago, another invitation to come back to the Americas, living in Miami, working back in the Latin America region in a brand new area of sustainability. And when I came back here, guess what I found? Relationships again.
Sure.
I found Colombians that are very warm in the way we work together. I found the Peruvians that they really like the way you talk to them, the way you do the business with them takes relationships. Even the Argentinians, my good friends there, I love being in Argentina. As a matter of fact, I will go to Argentina 2 days from now because the entire Latin America is also oriented to relationships. So what's the conclusion here? Everything I believe we do in business, you need to prioritize what helps you build relationships. If you build relationships at an international level, you will grow your relevance. And that has been my history. In the past 14 to 15 years, I've been growing my relevance by building strong relationships that helps me do business and also enjoy life. Because living in Dubai, Miami, traveling to all those places is the biggest pleasure of my life.
Certainly, certainly. Well, you are young. You have a lot of beautiful experience ahead of you. But before we move on, I'd like to highlight your book. In your book, you write about your experience and you create an idea about smart experience that are enriching your life, your perspectives of understanding the world, etc. How would you summarize the main ideas of your book for us here, Pedro?
Wonderful. Well, that was an idea after I completed 10 years. 10 years in Dubai for me was a cycle that closed. When I got the invitation to go to North America, I felt like I need to share this experience with others. A little bit of what we are doing here, but more structured in the book. The way I structured the book, Ricardo, it had 3 moments. First, in order for me to be 10 years in Dubai, what was the 10 years before going there that prepared me to go to Dubai and spend 10 years in Dubai, right? I put there stories about, fears. I put there stories about family. Sometimes we get stuck because you are locked in family situations. And I describe in the book situations like having to forgive my stepfather because he was not nice to me. But if I was stuck in the feeling of him not letting me go, I would never grow. So I had to build empathy with him, to forgive him. And now, through the book, I explained that empathy becomes a tool for work. Because when you go into innovation, you will fail. And if you don't forgive yourself first, and the colleagues that you've been innovating together, you will be stuck in the past. And through forgiveness, you can go ahead. Those kind of things I explained 10 years before I went to Dubai. But when I went to Dubai, I tried to bring to everybody, what can we learn from that region? It's very rich, not in money, Ricardo. It's rich in leadership. How can we think like the sheikhs of Dubai? How can we build like the architects and the engineers of Palm Jumeirah, Burj Al Arab? They had everything against them, but still they built something amazing. How can we sell like them? They have the first hotel 7 stars in the world. They invented a new category in order to sell an ecosystem of services. And finally, how you can win minds and hearts by opening up to the rest of the world. That was amazing for me to go through those ingredients of that region that you can apply, not because you're going to live in Dubai. You can apply that for any career transition, any movement in your life, how you bring those ingredients to apply. And I finished the book, very simple, with the next 10 years, which somehow I'm living right now. How do you design your museum of the future? That's something they invented there. They have the Museum of the Future. They are exposing today how the country will be in 2071. It's a key message that they are giving to all of us, that if you have projects, if you have ideas, and you hold them to yourself, and you don't expose that to people that can help you, can partner with you, can join forces with you, it will not work. So the book brought all of this together, and the idea is to help people to advance in their career transition, in their next big project and idea.
Brilliant, lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. Well, let's talk about future then. When we talk about the future of business, 2 key words come to our mind: sustainability and artificial intelligence. And you have been somehow working with both concepts, both areas of management. In your view, how can these 2 forces work together to transform companies and create positive impact in the world?
Well, sustainability and artificial intelligence are at the core of what I do today. I work for a very big company, a large tech company that they need both. They are from Europe, and Europe is not only trying to lead in technology, but they want to lead in a sustainable way. So they are setting high standards to the world about sustainability. And I've had the pleasure in Dubai to lead sustainability, and now I got the invitation to lead sustainability for Latin America. But then when we look at the context of technology, Ricardo, everything is changing. Artificial intelligence is not a buzzword. Back in 2018 in Dubai, I was assisting the Minister of Artificial Intelligence of the entire country to train the youth of the Emirates in AI summer camps on how to understand the power of this technology back in 2018. See, I mentioned about them having vision, right, and leadership. They were planting the seeds for an area that's grown exponentially. And I had the pleasure to understand from the very foundation how this would impact the world. Looking at the situation we are right now, 2025, as we speak here, we are living in a new era of technology. This new layer of technology, Ricardo, that is coming in and being available for everything we do is transformational to a level that humanity never saw before. However, artificial intelligence without purpose will not bring the quality of life to all the individuals. That's where the connection with sustainability is so important. So what I do today, I make sure that companies, they bring a sustainability memory to their artificial intelligence models. What does that mean, Ricardo? Every time I ask my company about the margins that I'm going to generate because I'm becoming more efficient, more productive, I need to have the context of sustainability, because a large language model that doesn't understand the taxation of sustainability, the impacts of climate change, the environmental situation that the world is looking at right now, even the social impact, they are missing on the calculation of their margins. And the large language models that don't have it, they will hallucinate. And that's my mission right now, helping organizations structure models that don't hallucinate and that are capable of giving answers that are correct. Not only correct from the exact number, but correct from the positive impact that the decisions these artificial intelligence will generate.
Pedro, our conversation here has been great, but we are reaching the final stretch here. And before we wrap up our conversation, I'd like to remind our listeners that IBS Americas, in partnership with the State University of New York in Albany and New Paltz, offers the program Business Sustainability for Leaders, an incredible opportunity for those who want to deepen their knowledge in sustainability and ESG from a global perspective. If you'd like to learn more about the program and perhaps join this adventure abroad in the upcoming classes, just check the episode description or point your camera at the QR code on the screen. There you'll find all the information to take the next step in your career. And now, Pedro, I'd like to invite you to leave a special final message for our students, for our former students, and for our listeners here who dream to building an international career and working on fields like sustainability. The mic is yours.
Wow. Well, first, congratulations again. I think what you're building here is the foundation for entire economies to grow. And I really respect that. Congratulations. Now, for everybody that's listening to us, and I will talk directly looking at them if you allow me. If you're looking at me right now, I have a message for you. Don't be afraid. I know that going abroad and living an experience that you've never been before is really scary. However, believe that when you are together with people that live the same level of energy, the proximity of those people will take you to another level. Today, I have friends that helped me throughout the journey that I met back in that trip and helped me form who I am today. Yes, so many years afterwards. And I believe you have an incredible opportunity to plant a seed to your life that will reap a lot of fruits and benefits. So don't be afraid. Make that decision. Jump. Explore the world, because there are things that you will only know if you are there. And if you are there, you will be able to unlock the next level of your life, your career, and your personal development.
Great, great, great. Thank you very much for joining us, Pedro. Your journey is truly inspiring and shows how international experience can be a powerful tool, especially combined with forward-looking vision like yours. We are also sharing the link to Pedro's LinkedIn profile and to his book, available on Amazon. Thank you very much, Pedro, once more. It was a huge pleasure welcome you here, my friend. See you soon, huh?
The pleasure is totally mine. Let's go. Let's make a difference.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much to all of you. Bye-bye.